everybody, I hope you're having a nice day. I'm here to show you today a special technique on how to finish the bottom end of a concealed zip. So I did a video a while ago on how to insert a concealed zip, and if you're not sure how to do that, we'll pop a link to that video in the comments below. But what a lot of people said was, thanks Lisa, that's great for that video, but how the hell do you finish the bottom? Because that's really tricky. So what I mean by that is when you've got a concealed zip inserted into a seam, I'll show you this one. Here's one I've done earlier. And then it's finishing this little bit here. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Before I start, I'm just telling you what I'm wearing, which is, this is a shift dress top that I played around with, and I put a little yoke in the top, which I don't know if you can see, and I also put a cuff on. So probably would have worked better if I used a contrasting fabric, made more of a point of it, but anyway, it's a bit different. I also made the sleeves slightly looser. So getting back onto this. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this seam up, and to do that we'll be using a regular zip foot, so one like so. You're going to need some pins as well, and of course your sewing machine. And I'm going to be sewing this with a black stitch so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So black stitch, black thread, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So obviously you would normally be matching the thread to the fabric, but for this I'm going to do it really in a contrasting black. So first thing, what we're going to do is we're going to pin the seam ready to be stitched. So I'm going to pin across, and then pulling the tail of the zip out of the way, like that. Okay, so if I just open this out, you can see where my stitch line stops. So these two stitch lines, this is my machine basting that I use to position the zip first, and then this is my proper strong stitch with a regular stitch length that holds the zip in. So what we're going to do, the aim of the game, is to stitch with our normal seam allowance, but when we come up to the edge of the zip, to the end of the stitching, we are going to stitch in front of that. So we're not going to try and meet it, and that's what often goes wrong when you try to meet the bottom of the stitching of the zip. And then when you don't, you can create little pleats and tuckers and tucks and all sorts of annoying things that don't look very neat. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, that's too difficult, we're not going to aim for that, we're going to sit 1 millimetre or even 2 millimetres in front of the bottom of the stitching and just overlap by a couple of stitches. Okay, so put my zip foot on, and the zip foot needs to be on the side so that you can access the right hand side of the zip foot, because the zip will get in the way when we get close to it. Okay, so here we go, taking that out. Right, now I'm coming close, I'm getting close now, and I'm going to make sure that I slow right down. Now you want to pull the zip right out of the way, but without distorting the fabric too much. And you want to kind of, at this point I usually stop and I try and visualize, is my line of stitching going to get me to where I want to go? So am I already lined up to get there? And it looks like I am. If you're not, you want to make sure you steer so that you are, because you don't want to make a sudden jerk out to get there at the end, because that will also result in a funny little tuck. Okay, here we go. And I did a regular reverse. And pull that out so we can have a look. Okay guys, so I've done that. So you can see here, this is my stitching here, and it comes and overlaps with this here, with my end of my zip stitching. And it's overlapping by a couple of stitches, that's all I did, and then there's a little reverse there as well. So if we turn it to the right side and open it out, there's a little, you can see where it's just sitting in front of the other of this zip seam. But if we go and iron that, you'll see that it will look nice and neat and create no little tucks. So I'm going to iron it and then bring it back to show you. Okay guys, so you can see now that I've ironed this, you can see my little bit of black thread there, but obviously if you're using a thread that didn't contrast, then you would barely notice that. And it's just a really smooth and flat end to the zip, so no puckers, no tucks, just a nice neat end. And so that's how you finish a concealed zip. A little trick that I learned from somebody who used to work in a factory, and she showed me how to do that. So I'm glad I've been able to pass that on to you guys. I hope that helps and eases the pain of stitching a zip. I hope you found the whole tutorial useful, and I will see you next time. Bye!